This is
No, entonces, buenas tardes, esperemos que estén bien y voy a traducirle a Stuart lo que diga y como siempre empezamos, tenemos que hacer una apertura para oficializar el encuentro y agradecer todo lo que nos permite que estemos aquí juntos.
So we know everybody's pressed for time, so we're just going to do it really short.
Y como todo mundo debe de estar apurado con el tiempo, vamos a hacerlo cortito.
So what I'm see is nyari gazit dans rio yujets gawenoji and dudgets going sta ronata haruni de tunura do garunga gari yagesu yati sota asatanka garako dana yetin staji honzagi dana guegus kat neganungwe de tunura do aguejini ganyat de gerda dana aguego o quadre o no quasua jitta su gazu su dana o quadre Ganongwe su Ganongwe Ganongwe su de tinu wada do yeti sota gunhan ner on the headstone e gana gurir that hawakwe ayonki at again ha dam dawe aron headstone because it's tasra ne Ganongwe so as always we always begin with giving our thanks to the things that have created us, the things that we need to continue to sustain us. And so we always begin by giving our thanks to the great spiral of creation. When we look up into the nighttime sky, we are not looking up at dark, empty, cold space, the way that the non-native people identify it. No, we are looking into the warm, loving body of Sky Woman herself. She is the great spiral of creation, and she is what has given us spirit. So we give thanks to her, Sky Woman, for giving us spirit.
Shall I ask if you need translation in Spanish?
It's got to be, because it's going to be recorded.
Entonces, vamos a hacer la traducción en español, sobre todo para la gente que pueda verlo después, porque todos se encuentran en el proceso de reconstitución. Entonces, primeramente, Gatsi Danzarillo se presenta, es un hombre en la forma matrilineal en la que él creció, necesita identificarse ante quien va a hablar. Dice que es el hijo de quien portaba en vida el nombre de Gahawenuye, quien era la última mujer jefe del clan del lobo de la nación Gañangahaga, que en el mundo se conoce como Mohawk, que es la nación fundadora de la Confederación de las 5 Naciones de las Casas Largas. Y empezamos entonces a agradecer a la espiral de la creación, que es la mujer cielo, quien nos da nuestro espíritu.
From there, we give our thanks to the beating heart of our Mother Earth, to our grandmother Moon. We give thanks to her as it is she who regulates the flow of the lifeblood in all things. And so we acknowledge and recognize and give thanks for the fact that it is she, our grandmother Moon, who has given us blood.
Y después le damos las gracias a nuestra abuela Luna, quien es literalmente el corazón latiente de nuestra madre tierra. Es gracias a ella que empezamos a tener las aguas que nos dan vida. Por lo tanto, es ella quien regula nuestras aguas, es ella quien nos da nuestra sangre a todas las cosas y por eso le agradecemos.
From there, we give our thanks to our Mother Earth, regardless of what color you may be, what language you speak, where you have grown out of the earth, or what you imagine divides us. We all come from the same mother, and so we give thanks to her, our Mother Earth, as it is she who has given us body.
Y después le damos las gracias a nuestra Madre Tierra, quien es la mamá de todas y todas las seres que existen aquí, y poco importa de dónde seamos, de qué color seamos, es ella la que nos da nuestro cuerpo y por eso le agradecemos.
From there, we give our thanks to all the women, from the newest born baby girl to the eldest grandmother, as they carry the sacred title of life giver in this world and are to be honored and respected as such. We give thanks to them, for in this world, the life givers in all strains of life give us purpose and direction.
Y después le damos las gracias a todas las mujeres, las dadoras de vida, desde la más pequeñita recién nacida hasta la más ancianita de las abuelitas, porque son ellas las madres de nuestras naciones y son ellas quienes nos dan el objetivo y la dirección y deben de ser tratadas como tal.
We offer our thanks and our acknowledgments to all the medicines, all the waters in all the shapes and forms they come in, to all the medicines in all the shapes and forms they come in also.
Y también agradecemos a todas las aguas y medicinas en todas las formas en las que se nos presentan.
We give our thanks to our ancestors who carried a good mind, and we ask them to help us, to show us how to return our mothers back to their natural seat of authority within all our nations so they can manage all our people properly once again.
Y le damos las gracias al buen espíritu de nuestros ancestros y les pedimos que nos ayuden para lograr que nuestras madres vuelvan a su sitio de autoridad que les corresponda y sean capaces de manejar a las naciones de nuevo.
And of course, we are not religious people, so we are not praying. We are identifying what we must do. So we are identifying here that we take an active role. We're not just asking to return our mothers. We must take an active role in returning our mothers back to their natural seat of authority.
Y por supuesto que no somos gente religiosa, entonces no estamos rezando, sino que estamos diciendo que tenemos un rol, un papel activo en el que esto sea llevado a cabo.
That's pretty much it. Any opening, as you know, we can go on and on giving thanks for everything, but this is in a nutshell to make things as short as possible.
Y esa es la apertura en general. Por supuesto, podríamos hablar durante horas para agradecer a todo lo que existe antes de nosotros y que nos sostiene, pero esta es la base general.
We apologize for being late ourselves to this crazy day. Everything blew up. This afternoon, we have 2 family issues that we have to deal with concerning children, 2 different families with their children that we had to deal with all afternoon.
Y una disculpa que nosotros llegamos tarde al encuentro. Este día ha sido de estarse ocupando de familias que tienen asuntos delicados con niños, entonces estuvimos ocupados con eso todo el día.
Okay, so just to set the stage, to let you know what it is that we have been doing.
Y nada más para decirles un poco de lo que hemos estado haciendo.
The whole process of the reconstitution of the eagle and the condor is to rebuild the spine of the body of our mother that travels from as far south as you can go to so-called Patagonia to as far north as you can go into so-called Alaska or wherever.
El proceso de reconstitución el objetivo es el de reconstituir la espina dorsal, la columna vertebral de todo este hemisferio desde la punta más hacia el sur en que se pueda considerar la Patagonia hasta la punta más hacia el norte.
The non-native came here to destroy the body. They have ripped the flesh, the skin off of the body, the muscles, the tendons, everything has been stripped clean off of the body and the body is almost dead.
Porque el proceso de colonización del no indígena vino aquí a destruir todo el tejido del cuerpo, desde la piel hasta la carne y a destrozarlo.
The reconstitution, the intent, the purpose of it is to rebuild the spine, the backbone of the people, to put the backbone back into the people.
Y el objetivo del proceso de reconstitución es el de poner en su lugar la espina dorsal, es decir, la columna que va a sostener, el hueso que va a sostener a la gente.
And this is by leaving all the garbage that the non-native has brought here from across the great waters that are here as part of the great darkness of the white man that is here to destroy all of life.
Y esto significa el dejar atrás todo lo que el no indígena ha traído, que es parte integrante de esta mentalidad de guerra del hombre blanco europeo que vino aquí con sus instrumentos de destrucción.
So we identify to all original peoples throughout Turtle Island, Pachamama, that it is time for everyone to leave behind all of those false man-made poisons, so-called religion, so-called political systems, educational systems. These are all part and parcel to our demise.
Entonces le identificamos a todos los pueblos originarios que es hora de abandonar todos los sistemas políticos, religiosos, educacionales que fueron traídos e impuestos aquí mediante la destrucción de nuestros sistemas. Es hora de dejarlo.
The solution is for all original people to return to our original councils, to our original teachings, to return our mothers back to power so that, again, all the people and the land itself can be managed properly by our mothers.
Y la solución es entonces el de volver a nuestro conocimiento ancestral, de nuestros consejos tradicionales y de todo lo que teníamos, nuestras medicinas, nuestra sabiduría, y como el objetivo principal es el de restablecer a nuestras madres en su sitio de autoridad como lo era, para que puedan volver a manejar la tierra de la forma correcta.
But of course, what we are doing is not only for the original peoples of Turtle Island, it is also for all the peoples of the world.
Pero por supuesto, este proceso no es nada más exclusivo para los pueblos originarios de la isla de la Tortuga, Abya-Yala, Pachamama, sino que es para todos los pueblos del mundo.
But we make it known clear that here it is the backbone reestablished, so we cannot have any foreign thinking, foreign way into the minds of the original people. It is solely back to our original customary councils, what every nation has had, their version, our complete version of great law of peace.
Pero dejamos en claro que esta médula espinal, espina dorsal, está constituida por los pueblos originarios que tienen sus distintas versiones de la gran ley de la paz.
We have been working on this now for, we started this process, I think it was a little over 3 years ago. Yesterday was our 40th ceremony that we had carried out.
Y este proceso lo iniciamos aproximadamente hace unos 3 años y el día de ayer fue nuestra 40ª ceremonia.
And so we have heard also through different participants in the Reconstitution process of the actions that youths are participating and that youths are taking.
Y escuchamos de la parte de su participación del día de ayer en el proceso de reconstitución acerca de sus acciones y los pasos que ustedes están tomando.
We know it is of the utmost importance for all peoples to be on the same agenda.
Y vemos y sabemos que es muy importante que todos los pueblos y la gente esté en el mismo orden del día.
But of course, there are too many voices in the world saying too many things.
Pero lo que es evidente es que hay muchas voces en el mundo que dicen muchas cosas distintas.
So each of us must filter out the white noise.
Entonces tenemos que filtrar el ruido blanco.
And keep only that which is pure of our original identities.
Para dejar solamente aquello que es puro de nuestras identidades originales.
No, not for anyone to misunderstand here. We are not purists. We are not saying we're going to rebuild the purest civilization, something like that. No, this is not what we are identifying.
Y para que nadie malinterprete, no estamos diciendo que somos puristas y que vamos a crear la civilización más pura o algo por el estilo.
We are quite simply identifying that when prior to the great darkness of the white man coming here, everything was perfect.
Simplemente estamos identificando que antes de la llegada del hombre blanco aquí, las cosas estaban perfectas.
And we look at returning it that way.
Y queremos regresarlo de esa forma.
And that is to work with all peoples who are also working, whether it is the white man, the black man, yellow man, or whoever. If they are working on the same agenda, then we can all work together on the same agenda.
Y para eso queremos trabajar con el hombre negro, el hombre amarillo, el hombre blanco, el hombre de quien sea. Si están trabajando en la misma agenda, estamos trabajando juntos.
Now, this is what we're doing. It does not mean that it is written in stone.
Y eso es lo que estamos haciendo y no significa que es sólido como escrito en la piedra.
As this is what we have seen, the avenue we must take.
Y eso es lo que hemos visto del camino que tenemos que tomar.
Once we are on that path, anybody in the world could come up with maybe a better idea or an adjustment to it. We are completely open to these things.
Y una vez que estamos en el camino, tal vez alguien tenga una mejor idea o hagamos ajustes, entonces estamos completamente abiertos.
So as short as possible, this is what we are, this is what we have been doing in the Reconstitution process.
Entonces, en pocas palabras, esto es lo que hemos estado haciendo en el proceso de reconstitución.
We are very grateful, very happy to be talking to you today. And now we leave it to you to present whatever it is that you have to present.
Y estamos contentos de tenerles en este encuentro y entonces, por supuesto, ahora les abrimos el suelo para que ustedes puedan presentar lo que deseen.
Are they muted?
Yeah.
Tell them they're muted.
Yeah, but they are still talking between them like two. It was not Christina, Mike? I don't know.
Was it Hala?
Yeah, Christine.
Want to call her back?
Just you call her and tell her that we'll be free in about a half hour.
Okay.
Okay, you got to tell them that they're.
No sé si nos escucharon, pero sería el momento si ustedes gustan presentar algo. Vemos que están con el micrófono cerrado, entonces si lo gustan abrir, porque no lo podemos hacer desde aquí y si estamos esperando su respuesta. So we see that you have the microphone muted. I don't know if you heard this, but we are open to receive the message if you want to present something right now.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Hola.
Bueno, pues estamos aquí con el abuelo Roy. Nos gustaría contextualizarlos un poquito para saber cuál es el propósito de esta reunión, cómo podemos sumar y contextualizarnos en ello. Gracias, hermanita.
Gracias a ti. So they would like to have a broader context, to understand exactly how are they supposed to be participating, or how is the best way to interact.
Okay, well, this is something that no one is really sure of.
Esto es algo de lo que nosotros y nadie realmente está seguro.
The issue is in the world of what has happened, colonization, all of this craziness has happened because of the imbalance in the non-native mind, which is male dominance. This separates the two hemispheres of their brain, so they cannot even communicate within their own system.
Y el asunto del problema que vemos hoy en el día en el mundo, y sobre todo obviamente en este hemisferio, es el de la colonización. Y la colonización ocurre de una forma tan abrupta y violenta porque el cerebro del no indígena es de dominación masculina, es decir, que elimina completamente el factor femenino, el equilibrio de su propio cerebro, y por ello actúa de forma tan violenta.
So just imagine physically cutting the human brain in half.
Es físicamente como si el cerebro fuera cortado a la mitad.
Well, when we come back together, it's every part of that brain that has to connect with the other side to try to come back together.
Y cuando nos unimos para hablar de estas cosas, es como tratar de juntar el cerebro, de volverlo a pegar y como masajearlo para que pueda volver a funcionar.
So the context of how or what we can do together is for us really to discover what we can do together.
Y el contexto de tener un intercambio y hablar acerca de lo que estamos haciendo es justamente para descubrir qué es lo que podemos hacer juntos.
So in whatever degree that either one of us can support the other, this is what we're looking for.
Entonces, en el grado o en el nivel que un lado pueda apoyar al otro, eso es realmente lo que estamos buscando.
So if there's 100 of us and only 2 of us can hold hands at first, that's the start.
Entonces, si hay 100 personas, digamos, y al menos nos podemos agarrar de las manos, eso ya es un inicio.
The idea is to start that process where eventually all 100 of us will be holding hands once again.
Porque la idea sería que toda la gente pueda justamente agarrarse de las manos.
So maybe just to give you a little bit of context as to who and what we are.
Entonces, tal vez para darles un poquito más de contexto con respecto a quiénes somos.
It's identified first in the opening, who I am, my name, I am Gazit Danzarillo. I am of the Wolf Clan, of the Longhouse, of the Ganyangahaga Nation, of the 5 Nations Longhouse Confederacy, under the Great Law of Peace.
Como lo dije en el inicio, en la apertura, mi nombre es Gatsi Danzarillo, en la lengua gañangueja, y soy del clan del lobo y estoy dentro de la nación Ganyangahaga de la Confederación de las 5 Naciones de las Casas Largas.
The Ganyangahaga is what the rest of the world knows as Mohawk.
Y los Ganyangahaga son los que el resto del mundo conoce como los Mohawk.
My mother was the last legal female chief within the Ganyangahaga Nation.
Y mi madre era la última madre de clan o mujer jefe del clan del lobo que fue oficialmente instalada con ese título.
She stood and struggled to maintain and return Guyana Great Law of Peace to our people.
Y ella se esforzó por mantener la gran ley de la paz, defenderla y seguirla transmitiendo a nuestra gente.
Great Law of Peace is matrilineal law. It is where our mothers are the authority, where our mothers are in charge.
Y la gran ley de la paz básicamente es en donde nuestras madres son la autoridad y son las madres las que se encuentran a cargo.
Not only in thought, not only in theory, but in actual physical application where it is law within the people.
Y no solo en pensamiento o en teoría, sino en donde es de hecho una ley que actúa en la gente.
My sole purpose, as to what my mother brought me into this world for, is to rid this world of the corruption of male dominance, to return the balance of the great peace, not only here in Turtle Island, Pachamama, but to the rest of the world.
Y el objetivo es el de deshacer al mundo de esta dominación masculina que le fue infligida y hacer que el mundo vuelva a la autoridad matrilineal, no solamente aquí en este hemisferio, sino en todo el mundo.
So this means that anybody who is working in any territory to return peace back to the people, to return power back to the people, to remove this oppressive so-called government structure that is colonizing the world. This is the purpose. This is the intent.
Entonces es el darle las herramientas necesarias a la gente para que salga de este instrumento colonizador que se le sigue imponiendo.
So if somebody is working in India to reestablish with their people the same process, then we have a lot in common that we must work together for. But we work together to establish their family under their laws. We work together under our family to establish our laws. So we're all working together, assisting each other in each other's identity.
Entonces, si hay alguien que estuviera en India haciendo el mismo trabajo, vamos a trabajar juntos y por supuesto en el respeto del territorio, ellos con sus leyes y nosotros con las nuestras.
We realize that we have a common enemy.
Y nos damos cuenta que tenemos un enemigo común.
Even if no one on earth wants to believe that they have an enemy.
Inclusive si en la tierra nadie quiere creer que hay un enemigo.
Our enemy is unseen. It does not, cannot be identified or singled out in a standing army or any particular government.
El enemigo no se puede ver en un ejército.
Okay, you're gonna go with them.
Adelante. Si se puede nada más quitar, perfecto.
Okay. I want to ask one question. Do you know William Commander?
Yes, I knew William Commander.
Yeah, okay. William Commander, they together, they smoked 4 times apart. One time in Hopi land, with a Hopi fighter. One time at a big gathering in Canada, and again in California, and again in Canada before he passed away. He made me aware of the wampum belt, and many people don't believe, but I lit the 8th fire in Washington, D.C. shortly before 9/11. So I'm very much aware of what you're talking about. I've been 50 years on the path, so all the issues and whatever, I'm familiar. But now for humanity, it even goes beyond global, it's universal. Globally, Africa, the Pacific, Europe, and so on, the Americas. So the last 30 years, I've been traveling around the world to connect. So consequently, I was given the baton. As it is today, there's great separation, confusion, chaos, corruption, you name it, as part of the plan. See how far we can go into the unknown to explore by way of the 3-dimensional density. But now we come to the conclusion. So the extremes are like this, the extreme. Now, the message, we call it the secret, that the Hopi have been keeping for over 30,000 years is, what is the center? What is the secret to unify the opposites? This one, that is the main issue that we had to talk about. So even the Hopi, like anywhere in the world, they also separate. And I forgot the main issue, the center, the secret. So that's the message, my responsibility, to have it shared with humanity. It took me a long time to be in preparation, 50 years, like I say. So the main issue now is, regardless what many issues are, including corruption, economy, the virus, health, many issues, man, woman, relationships, family breakup, many issues. But they had to focus on the main issue. What is the main issue? Center, the secret. And if we don't focus on that, if we don't present that to the world, they continue with many issues. Endless. Demonstration, protests, petitions. What is the main issue? To bring it together. And that is, in that stage, that's why I'm here now in Mexico, in Querétaro. Because Mexico has the mission as a nation, but also geographically, also in spirit. Somehow, from here, something has to happen, but we need the 4 directions. First, east and west. And why east and west? It's different than south and north. They represent the 2 different orientations, consciousness, and part of the mission of the plan. See? It's a long story, but I want to make it short. Mexico, geographically, but also spiritually, historically, has that responsibility to bring the 4 directions together. Historically, it connects Lemuria, Atlantis, east-west, and south and north. These 4 directions correlate with the 4 directions of our heart, the 4 chambers. Unless we know how to come to that center in practical, normal daily life terms. I'm not talking about philosophy or opinion. Most precisely, according to the law of the Creator. And that need to be understood, whether we are indigenous or not indigenous. So the people, not only who have the intelligence, but also have the power to use their intelligence to come to the center. And the basis to that is, to bring it out to the world, is education, basic education. That is missing. I've traveled around the world, Pacific, Asia, Africa, Europe, Americas. Not one talk about it, not even the Dalai Lama. And they had a conversation. He doesn't know, because it's a secret. And the reason why I met with William Commander in 1993, 92, 93, was part of what needed to be revealed, so-called the secret. So the 7 fires have to light the 8th fire. But once the 8th fire is lit, they have to come to the center. That's the 9th. The 9th center correlates with the heart. That's the eternal flame. But all the 8 fires have been lit already, but many people don't know. And that 9th fire correlates also with the secret. That's the law of the Creator. So that is our job, to reveal it. So January 3rd, we have planned for a global collaboration to reveal that secret. And it has been formulated in the form of a universal proclamation. So if we can agree on that, that's the first step. There's something we need to agree on that is universal, concern everyone. So my understanding is, because I was 2 hours ago saying, okay, we have a conference now. I thought it was about planning for the next step. And thank you for revealing all your knowledge and your concerns. It's very important. So we know how we can communicate. But what I suggest is to be constructive, precise, and effective globally. That we have a global meeting for 4 hours of all the continents, trying to agree on a common denominator. That's the beginning for the union. That's the PowerPoint. So that is my personal position. I'm just a messenger, but also it's a responsibility. So Canada is important. So it could be after January, it could be as late as March, when we are fully prepared that the Boston can be completed. Maybe also an eagle feather from Canada included. So God willing, I don't know. And my formula also is, God helps us who help themselves. You see? So that is my guideline I've been following for the past 30 years. So just follow the message from inside, serving the totality as much as you can, and then we get all the help that we need in the whole universe. So my proposal is, again, let's prepare for January 3rd, maybe Mexico time, 10 o'clock, and we synchronize, and there will be translated in different languages, for sure. It's basically English, but Spanish, Japanese, maybe French, Arabic, maybe Russian. So if you can help, that would be great. Also, connecting with other groups that you know, so that many people participate. You see, that way we help all of humanity and all the indigenous people today also will be inspired, because that's the best we can help. Humanity can help, and the other way around. I hear so many times that people say, well, it's my tradition and so on, but in the reality is, including here in Mexico, when you go to Palenque, for example, the stronghold for the Maya, but on a daily basis, the biggest tradition is Coca-Cola. And we only have tradition in ceremony. But we have to be traditional in our normal daily life, constantly. So we have to know what is the original tradition that created all the traditions. That is missing. That is missing. And that all the traditions, regardless, are centered around that secret, that law. And if we don't know that, then we miss the boat. Also, I hear so many injustice, you know, of the Americas, South and North. And we never talk about the great cruelties, you know, in Europe, in Africa, in Asia. In Europe, over 10 million women were burned alive in the plaza. Nobody talk about it. So, to make the woman powerless. In India, more than 10 million. In China, in Africa. You see? Now they can go on and on and on. But even before that, in the Luciferian rebellion, all planets were blown up, just like that. And the reason why we're here on this planet, with the mission, the plan, and nobody talk about it. What's the plan that brought us to this planet? If we don't know, we cannot do anything. What's the plan? We have to know more about the Luciferian rebellion, what it was all about, and what came about from that. This, what's happening on the planet, is the consequence. And the mission of humanity here is to end the rebellion by making this earth a portal of liberation. And that's what to talk about. Especially indigenous people have to talk about it and know what to do about it. And it begins with being in control of your blood quality, blood. And most people, they pollute the blood. Coca-Cola, Fanta, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. See? So they cannot do what they need to do. So we have to focus on the common denominator, the center that unifies everything, and the context of the plan. It is universal context, not planetary, universal. We have three things you need to know. The center, the circle, and what connects the center and the circle, three. If we know that, then we can begin. Most people talk all about the circle. So, symptomatic. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Or they be constructive, effective, powerful. They have to begin with the center, the circle, and what connects. Internally, what connects is our blood. The circle is our body. And the center is the point zero in our heart. But how to reach the heart center? Not by talk. With the blood.
And what? Oh,
With the blood. But if the blood is polluted with Coca-Cola, it's not possible. We have to know how to connect to the center. Biologically, the truth has a biological basis. You have to know. See? So let's collaborate. Let's make it global and see if we can do it. To come to an agreement about the common denominator. Then we have the power. That's the PowerPoint. We have the power, but we have to know how to use the power. Otherwise, just power. That's all. Power put in the closet, but cannot use it. So we need the basic education, not just wisdom. Let it be precise. So, use our intelligence. And so all of this has been engraved in stones, in caves, many world, but still people cannot fully understand because it's secret. And now we need to reveal it. And that's why I was adopted by the Hopi elder, who was given the mission to give the green light to reveal the secret. That is Kumayam Tewa. And he and William Commander, the three of us, we smoked the pipe on this agreement on the wampum belt in the cabin. So let's collaborate. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Is there any eggs? If there is, can you bring me one?
Nada más voy a hacer un pequeño resumen para quienes no hablan inglés. Y básicamente Roy le preguntó a Stuart si él conocía al abuelo William Comanda, a lo cual Stuart respondió que sí. Posteriormente hubo un intercambio de la parte de Roy para explicar que él encontró al abuelo William Comanda en el pasado y estuvo de hecho participando con él en una ceremonia de pipa, y de hecho él fue adoptado por un anciano Hopi, el cual tenía una misión. Entonces la propuesta que él hace es que trabajemos en colaboración a nivel de norte, sur, este, oeste. Como en el corazón hay 4 cavidades, en la misma forma trabajamos en las 4 direcciones, y lo que se tenga que hacer tiene que ser a nivel global. Entre muchas cosas que mencionó, por ejemplo que ha habido muchas mujeres en Europa que fueron asesinadas y nunca nadie habla de eso, ha habido muchas injusticias en el mundo y básicamente tenemos que cuidar nuestra salud porque nuestra sangre es lo principal que nos da nuestra conciencia o que hace que el cerebro funcione de forma adecuada. Entonces, el secreto es que tenemos un poder que es obviamente la mente y cómo la estamos utilizando, la sabemos utilizar. There's the other.
Okay. Just a couple of questions, references here. Did you know Thomas Banyaka?
Yeah, I know him.
Okay. Yeah, my family, my mother, my father, myself, we've known him ever since for me, the same time that I've known William Commanda, which goes back for me to when I was like 5 years old, to 1967.
Entonces Stuart le pregunta a Roy si él conoce a Thomas Banyaka, lo cual responde que sí. Y Stuart dice que desde la época en que él era niño y viajaba con su mamá y su papá y conocieron a William Commanda, es como ellos se conocían.
Way back in the early 60s here, there was the relations between the Ganyangahaga and the Anishinaabe, William Commanda being Anishinaabe.
Y desde el inicio en este territorio ha habido, por supuesto, relaciones entre las distintas naciones, entonces entre la nación Ganyangahaga y la nación Anishinaabe, de donde viene William Commanda.
We were in a renewal or a revitalization of our relations, and so we were having conventions between our nations from around 67 till about 72.
Y desde 1967 hasta 1972 más o menos estaban renovando sus lazos entre las naciones y tenían distintas convenciones para hacerlo.
And because my mother was the clan mother, the female chief, and she always kept me by her side, I was always privy to being at councils, meetings, when I was the only child there. Other children were allowed to play.
Y como la mamá de Stuart era la madre de clan, mujer jefe del clan del lobo, él como niño siempre la seguía y entonces estaba en todos los encuentros como el único niño, a pesar de que él quería ir a jugar con los otros niños.
So for me, it's just good to be able to triangulate. I have this one point of reference, which is William Commanda. I have this other point of reference, which is Thomas Banyaka, and then now you, who is the point of reference to both of them. So I can triangulate through my memory to connect to you.
Entonces, para mí es bueno hacer esta referencia de triangularizar William Commanda y Thomas Banyaka y usted que conoce a ambos.
So, but in the recent times, when you were working with William Commanda, does this mean also that you were working with, do you know Jacob Wawati? Did you know Jacob Wawati?
Y en los tiempos en los que usted trabajó con William Commanda, ¿usted conoció a Jacob Wawati?
Or Joe Wawati?
¿O Joe Wawati?
No, he was not really part of the key elders. Was Paris, Zildan, Paul, James
Kane.
James Coates. When Thomas Banyaka, his role at the time was to be interpreter. To help Grandfather David to be interpreter or middleman, whatever, spokesperson at the United Nations in New York. But the one who was really the main person, the chief of all the elders was Grandfather David from Hodovilla.
Where was he from?
Huh?
Where was he from? What nation?
He was Hopi from Hodovilla.
Okay.
So Thomas, his job was not to be a spokesperson for the Hopi. He was appointed as an interpreter. The spokesperson was Grandfather David, you see. Well, Tadas, my Hopi father, he was more like the secret keeper. He's like hidden, okay? Together with his grandbrother, Lil Dan Iwahema. So, but Thomas was very outspoken. He was traveling, but he was not the you may say, the main elder. He was the interpreter.
Yeah. I agree with that. We're 100% seeing eye to eye on that.
Entonces hacen un intercambio acerca de quién era quién cuando iban a hacer representaciones a las Naciones Unidas, por ejemplo, quién era el anciano principal y quién era el intérprete, y están de acuerdo en este análisis.
Okay, I'm just going to respond to a few different things that you said.
Y voy a responder un par de cosas.
We agree 100% education.
Estamos a 100% en que hay que hacer educación.
Not education of ourselves, but education of the people whose minds are
teaching.
Y no educación de nosotros, sino de la gente cuyas mentes están dentro de la corrupción.
This is something that is and has been the agenda of the Longhouse now for ever since I was alive.
Y esta ha sido la agenda de la Casa Larga desde que yo nací, desde antes.
But in particular, in recent years, we've really expanded that avenue.
Pero especialmente en los últimos años realmente nos hemos concentrado en ese camino.
In order to teach, to share the knowledge of the great law of peace, we have taken it into university schools, all different ages, into books, into film, social media, everywhere we've taken it to expand the knowledge, to share the teachings.
Y para poder hacer esa misión educativa la hemos llevado a todas las edades, a escuelas, universidades, libros, medias sociales, todos los medios posibles.
Now, for us here within the Longhouse, as you know, every nation has their identity, their way, their different way.
Y aquí en la Casa Larga, como usted lo sabe, cada nación tiene su identidad y su propia forma de hacer las cosas.
But here, according to the teachings of the Longhouse, that the purpose of us being in this world, of course, is for the human experience.
Pero aquí, por supuesto, el objetivo es, de estar aquí es la experiencia humana.
And at the core of that is our mother's heart.
Y en el centro de eso se encuentra el corazón de nuestra madre.
For us, this is our center,
Ese es nuestro centro,
our mother.
nuestra madre.
And so what I'll just give you a very quick rundown here is to, like an egg, like this egg right here.
Entonces, por ejemplo, como este huevo aquí,
This is the circle, the shell, the outside, the hard shell, that is the circle.
esta cáscara es el círculo.
In the center is our mother. She is creating all the different strains of life. So in there, she's creating an elephant. She's creating a chimpanzee. She's creating a human. She's creating a lizard. She's creating a mosquito. Everything is being created in there by our mother.
Y en el centro se encuentra nuestra madre, quien está creando todas las diferentes hebras de la vida, un chimpancé, un mosquito, etc.
Now, for us, what the circle is, the outer circle, this is the men, the life protectors.
Y para nosotros, el círculo externo, la cáscara, son los hombres, los protectores de vida.
So the life, what would I name this? The credo, or what we live by, our agenda,
Entonces, nuestra misión
is to honor and respect our mother, that is at the core, that is the heart.
es la de honrar y respetar a nuestra madre que se encuentra en el centro.
And again, what protects it is the men with their hands so joined in peace.
Y lo que la protege es las manos de los protectores de vida que están unidos en la paz.
Now, of course, the third thing what you're identifying is what connects the heart to the circle.
Y por supuesto, el tercer elemento que usted identifica es lo que conecta al círculo con el centro.
For us, this is what we refer to as great law of peace.
Y para nosotros eso es lo que identificamos como la gran ley de la paz.
But great law of peace is not a thing unto itself. You can't say, well, here, this is great law of peace.
Pero la gran ley de la paz no es como un objeto que se le pueda dar a alguien, como toma, aquí está.
Great law of peace is the balanced mind thinking properly on behalf of all generations, past, present, and future.
La gran ley de la paz es la mente equilibrada que piensa de forma adecuada en nombre de todas las generaciones, las pasadas, las presentes y las futuras.
And so for us in the circle, as our mother is the heart in the center, she is the core.
Y en el círculo, como nuestra madre se encuentra en el centro,
The men, again, the outer shell, the life protectors protecting the life on the inside.
y de nuevo los hombres son la cáscara, el círculo que protege lo que está dentro.
And so what's connecting the two is our children with the balanced mind that we give them through the proper education of peace.
Y lo que conecta a ambos son nuestros hijos, a los que les damos la mente equilibrada mediante la gran ley de la paz.
So from this, we do not acknowledge, like you said, blood quantum. We do not acknowledge that.
Y aquí, por ejemplo, no reconocemos lo que usted dijo en el sentido de blood quantum, la cantidad de la sangre, el porcentaje de la sangre.
That blood quantum is a creation of the white man. That comes from Britain.
La cuestión de porcentaje de sangre es una creación del hombre blanco que viene de Inglaterra.
They inflict that corruption everywhere around the world through their colonization.
Y ellos infligieron esta corrupción a lo largo del mundo por la colonización.
And so what is wrong in the world is, if we consider the egg, where the destruction is of course through the whole body, but it is to focus on separating the children from the mothers and the fathers. So there is no connection from the heart to the circle.
Y la corrupción que existe en el mundo el día de hoy es el de separar a los niños de las madres y de los padres para que no haya este círculo.
And so for this, we see the process of the two that are separated. We see the process of how to bring them back together.
Y por eso vemos que como están separados, tenemos el proceso de hacer que vuelvan juntos.
Is through the wampum belt of the Degani Diohade.
Y es mediante este cinturón wampum que se llama el wampum de dos vías.
Now, what the Degani Diohade is, it identifies the two opposite sides.
Y este identifica ambos lados opuestos,
But it's not as simple as that.
pero no es tan fácil.
What it is it goes to the core of our humanity. It is our DNA.
Y básicamente va al centro de nuestra humanidad, que es el ADN.
And so the two-row wampum deals with every division that can possibly exist.
Y de esta forma el wampum de dos vías va a manejar cualquier división que pueda existir.
Go ahead.
Adelante.
Sorry, we don't want to interrupt. Just like we have a deadline to cover today, so we have some other meetings. So it would be really great if on January the 3rd, we can continue with the work, so we can keep joining all the groups together, so we can make this more stronger. So let's keep in touch, you know, like again, from Somos Semilla and us. Thank you very much for the chat, for your time, for sharing. It's a pleasure for us, so we can be working together, joining forces in this. So a big hug with the heart. Bye-bye to everybody.
I'm really sorry that we have to do this, because we have obligations and we have to fulfill it.
We understand. We know that this was thrown together.
We can continue, but let's let's make a time so we know, how much, how we can divide ourselves between different responsibilities. Okay, but I understand. I really understand the total picture, and people like you also are filling in to the total picture, and everyone, somebody else. So, but let's try to make it look global, okay? And then we can be more constructive.
Okay, we understand this is thrown together really fast. We know we ain't got much time. As there was an opening, we always have to do a closing. So we'll ask you, are you comfortable? Do you feel good with doing the closing?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead, do the closing.
Thank you.
Entonces vamos a cerrar y vamos a dejar otro tiempo para la discusión. Adelante.
Just to make sure we understand, when we do the closing, it's like the same way that we do the opening. We come in and we identify like what I did at the beginning, and then to do the closing, there has to be a person to finalize it.
So would you like to close?
Mm-hmm.
So would you like to close?
No, you can close.
Okay.
We'll close it?
Yeah, please.
Okay, all right, I won't do it in my language. I'll just speak it in English to save time so everybody understands.
Uh-huh.
So as we began by giving our thanks to all the things that what you've heard in the beginning, so now we speak to all those things also. We speak to our ancestors who carried the good mind, and we ask them to hear all the words that were spoken here today and to help us to work these thoughts through our minds so that we can comprehend each other. We understand that right now, we may not be fully comprehending each other. It's the second time that we really talk. So we ask our ancestors to help us to work this through our mind in the coming days, that we come to see what like what you said, what is at each other's core, so that we can then deal more straightforward, more clearly with each other, where we don't have to spend 10 words, where we could just maybe perhaps say 2 words between us and have that understanding. So this is what we are seeking out. We are seeking out between us proper communication, where the person who is initiating properly, and the person who is receiving properly, so that we can all conclude together in a good way. And so we give thanks to our ancestors who carried the good mind, that they have brought us together today over the billions of years of creation, and in the last seconds of creation, to see such chaos take place, but yet to have our trajectories come into the same path. This is a very good thing, and we have our ancestors who carried the good mind to thank for this, all of us, regardless of if it is somebody who is sitting behind the scenes, supporting us, working with us. These are all part and parcel. That is what has made today happen, what made it possible. And so even if from here, if we do not ever see each other again, if we do not work together, we know that where you are at and where we are at upon the land, that we have started a conversation to come to a better understanding with each other, so that the people upon our Mother Earth can communicate our mother's voice once again. And so we give thanks that we have come together in this way, and that we say that from here until the next time that we meet, we call upon all the powers that be. We call upon Sky Woman, who has given us spirit, our grandmother Moon, who has given us blood, our Mother Earth, that has given us body, and to all the women who give us purpose and direction. We ask all to continue to watch over us, to keep us in line, that if we do anything wrong, or we misrepresent, or if we are lying publicly, that our mothers have the right, the power and authority to correct us at any time. If it is public or private, they can openly chide us depending on the degree of our violation. This is what we identify for best communication and for our heart to return to our mother and for her mind to know that she is the authority again, that all her children, especially her sons, must identify this to her. So we make supplication only to our mothers in this world, no one else. In all creation, we only make supplication to what we identify as Yonkia Dizu, the creator, those that created us. And so we are happy. Agwatsanuni, agwatsanuni, agwatsanuni. We are happy today because today, each of us, maybe this is what we experience, a lot of turmoil within the families, children being attacked, hacked away at, taking away the power of the mothers and putting power into the hands of corrupt men. We have seen this morning, but we conclude with this today now as the sun sets, that we are working to undo the corruption of men, that we are working together to bring our minds together to return the great goodness back to our mother's heart. So we are very grateful that we have spoken with you today. We're very happy that we can see you. It looks very beautiful where you are at. We're just to let you know today, it's very cold where we are at, but in here, it's boiling like hell. We got the wood stove right behind me and we're boiling, but a little bit of snow on the ground, very cold. We've seen a lot of animals around today, so a lot of spirit is with us. We give thanks. We are lucky. We are fortunate. We are the fortunate people because we have gotten to speak together today. So nyawagoa to everybody, nyawagoa to you, to everyone who has helped to make this possible, even if it's somebody just working the computer. Nyawagoa to everyone that made this possible. And until the next time that we see you, then we just say to everybody to keep our minds within Ganigurio. Ganigurio is the good mind. Keep our mind within the good thinking. So, Nyawagoa, muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Mucho gusto.
Oh, muchas gracias.
Next time when we meet again, we smoke the pipe.
Earthquake.
All
3
right.
minutes ago.
3 minutes ago, hey, just so that you hear, we got news right now. 3 minutes ago, an earthquake where?
In
In
Monterrey,
In Monterrey,
where Griselda is.
where Griselda is. Wow. Okay. All right. Nyawagoa, we'll see you soon.
Yes.
Woo! Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right. Woo, woo, woo.
Okay.